Well, I'm out on the Blue Revolt today and I'm going to go hill climbing. It's a beautiful day, you might think. You might think it's a beautiful day, but there's a really strong wind and I'm shocked at how cold it is. Still, that's summer in Britain, and I'm hoping both of those things are going to help me today. So I've decided I'm going to attempt 2 hills that I haven't done before because I've been afraid of them. And this has been something in the last 2.5 years since I came back to cycling, is the fear of hill climbing. It's not without foundation. The problem is my weight fluctuates between 115 and 120 kilos. So there's a lot of me to get up a hill. Even in my racing days I wasn't a very good hill climber. So this week I was coming back on this particular road and the road was closed. And well, what do I do now? And I had to turn back. And it added 5 miles onto my route. And then yesterday, I just randomly met up with somebody else. And I was telling him the story. And he looked at me and he said, well, why didn't you go up Kenbig Hill? And I said, I don't think I've got the strength for it. And he looked at me in disbelief. And he said, you'll be able to do it. I thought, well, how do I know I can't do it? I've never tried it. I've always just looked at it and gone, nah, too steep. So, I'm going to try the Kenbig Hill today. And I'm hoping that the wind will be pretty much behind me, because that's important. Because my feeling is, if you've done a hill once, you know in your mind you can do it. So even if I use the wind to help me, I'll still psychologically know that I've done it before. And it's just around the corner here. So I'm going to show you what it's like going up the hill. I probably won't be able to say anything because I'll be out of breath. And you'll have to listen to me panting. I mean, I'm panting already. But some of that is fear. So the secret is, I'm going to try and go as slow as possible. And that's usually quite difficult for me. And here it is ahead of us. Well, I've made it to the top of the Kenbig Hill. You know how sometimes you think, oh, something's really difficult, and then when you do it, you go, actually, it's quite easy. Well, that wasn't the case with this one. It was bloody hard. That's the first time I've seen Climb Pro show a hill in red. It's normally green and orange when I do climbs. And there is an incredible sense of achievement when you get to the top, I have to say. The thing about hill climbing is it opens up a lot of opportunities. I live in South Wales. You're not going to go very far in South Wales without going uphill. So if you have to avoid certain hills, it just restricts your opportunities for creating new routes. And having the ability to go uphill also means that if you go off route, for whatever reason, you know, that feeling where you drop down a steep hill and you think, oh no, there's got to be something steep on the other side, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But one of the problems I have is I suffer from anxiety. Quite often, it's just fear, you know, you just think of it, you know, oh, what if I can't make it, what if happens, what if this happens, what if that happens? And in fact, you're going to laugh, but one of my biggest fears is that I might run out of energy and topple over. I'm quite impressed with myself because I managed to get up the Kenvig hill without unclipping my feet, because that's what usually happens. Because of my anxiety, if I'm on a hill and I feel I'm not going to make it, I unclip my feet so that I can get my foot down quick if I need to. Well, we've still got a few miles to go to the next big hill. I mean, it's hills all the way. But that's okay, these are hills I've ridden before. And let me know in the comments whether you have the same fear of hills as I do. And I've told you before, when I first came back to cycling, I started off, I was so unfit. I started off doing 2.5 miles each ride, and then just going a bit further and a bit further, building up some fitness. And when I got my checkpoint, I planned a route on the Garmin. I didn't know anything about it at that stage. I didn't know it did elevation. I was just using it for mapping, really. And I planned a route. And it was my first 10-mile ride. And I set off and I started going up this hill, but it was a lane, you know, and it was narrow and it was twisty. And it went uphill. And then it went uphill a bit more. And each time I kept looking at the turn in the road as far as I could see, it probably ends there. And it didn't. And it just carried on going and going and going. But the thing is, I did it because I hadn't built up any fear of it. It was just the road in front of me and I got on with it. And as I say, for me, definitely, that's the biggest problem. Is looking at a hill. You know, you do it in, I use Garmin Connect to plan my routes, and then it shows you the climbs and the profile looks like you're going up a wall. And I think, oh, perhaps I shouldn't do that then, I'll go somewhere else. And of course the other big danger with hill climbing is chasing the hill. And what I mean by that is, you think, I've got to get up this, so you put all your effort into it at the bottom, and halfway up it, you're burnt out. And that's something I definitely had a problem with. I'm kind of better at it now, of starting off at the bottom and going slowly, even though you've got plenty of energy in the bag. Because sometimes, you know, where you're just out on a relaxed ride, you're not chasing times, and you go up a hill, and when you get back, Strava says, well, that was your best time up that hill. And you think, why? I wasn't pushing. That's the reason. You hadn't burnt yourself out at the bottom, or halfway up. And of course this is the advantage of going uphill. It's a lot of fun coming back down. Assuming you've gone uphill first. Assuming you've done the uphill first. Because if you go down the hill first, you think, wow, this is fun, but you know you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to climb back up the other side. I haven't ridden this road before, mainly because it's really busy. It's strange, really, because it only goes to my stake. It's not a through road to anywhere. And looking at the traffic, you'd think more people lived in my state than lived in London. Right, and here comes the next big climb. See how we get on. Start off nice and slow. Well, here we are at the top. And I'm embarrassed to say I had to walk 100 yards, even though Climb Pro suggested this one would be easier than the other one. But the thing is, with Climb Pro, is it works out the average from bottom to top. So it says it's easier, but the first part of it was 16%. And I have to say, I did some of the 16%, but I just had to walk the last 100 yards. Still, at least I know now, don't use that route unless you're prepared to walk a little bit. So climbing does give you a huge sense of achievement, and it is worth doing. And you know, as I said, it opens up more opportunities on where you can go and things. And sometimes a little hill, and even a big hill, but only half a mile, that you're afraid of, but it can link two really nice roads together to make a wonderful route. So my advice is, go and try it. If you're afraid of a hill, just go and try it. And if you end up walking, so what? Because in the words of Monty Python, you come from nothing, you go back to nothing. What have you lost? Nothing. But the sense of achievement when you do get to the top of the hill is incredible.